Okay, here we are, week one, and I wanted to take a little bit of time, as I will in every week, and to give you a quick overview of each week. This week it'll be a little more detailed, and as the weeks go on and you get more comfortable with the format of the course, I'll provide kind of less and less detailed information. So let's take a look at week one. The course is laid out each week in a similar fashion to make it easier for you to navigate. So if you right off for the bat, notice that to reinforce, all of our assignments are due by midnight on Sunday of the week that we're working on it. Now, an important thing to note though is that that due date on Moodle will show Sunday at midnight, but Moodle will also allow you to submit until 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday. So if you are a late night coder and you like to code past midnight, you remember you'll be good to go, and all the assignments will be open for submission until 6 in the morning. Starting each of the weeks, it's always a good idea to take a quick view of the lesson overview, checklist, and study guide. If you click on that, it'll actually open up. It's a PDF. And you can see there's a discussion of the main topics. There is going to be a checklist of the things that you should be doing throughout that week. There are going to be some keywords to focus on, and those keywords will be assessed in the quizzes along with the concepts. And down here, and I find these very, very useful. So these are actually the skills that we're going to require that you pick up over the course of this week. So, as we're talking about this, let's go back and take a look at this week. So what is it that we're going to do? Well, the first thing is that we really need to kind of do a little bit of housekeeping, call it the course orientation. So while this is an online course, we want to make sure that if you are on campus, that you do watch the campus safety video. There are a number of good pieces of information there. So make sure that you watch that video and that you respond to. There's just a quick quiz where you certify that you did see it. Complete the student information glossary. I'll show that to you in a second. It's important that you agree to the course policies, and I'll walk you through that. Also, very, very important is to make sure that you do two things. And that first one is to download and install Visual Studio Community Edition 2019. That's the software that we'll be using. And also to create your Cengage MindTap account. So now if we kind of scroll down, you'll see that we're going to kind of talk about how it is that we're going to provide resources for you to learn, and then also how we're going to provide some practice opportunities and a review and an apply, which is actually our coding assignment, and then access and reflect. So I think these will make a lot more sense to you once we take a peek back at Moodle. So here we are in Moodle, we're back. And if you take a look here, you'll see here is the link to the campus safety video. After you watch that, please click here. Again, it's just a one question Moodle quiz to certify that you did watch it. The student glossary. This is an opportunity for you to share some information with your fellow students that are in the course. And you can fill in as much or as little information as you would like. You'll see over here, it kind of, every time Moodle opens up, it's going to kind of grab a new student to introduce them to us. It's right there. This is my information in here. I added a photo. You do not have to add a photo. If you want, you could add some kind of an image if that feels appropriate to you, but you don't need to have any kind of a graphic at all. And mine is relatively large. Please do not feel obligated to make anything as large as that unless you would like to. Um, Very important here is that there are some course policies. And so I want you to kind of take a look at these course policies. The idea is that you will copy and paste this and agree to these policies in an email to me. As I said, two things that are very, very important are installing Visual Studio Community Edition on your home computer. This is the software we'll be using, and it's going to be really difficult to even get through the first week without doing that. And so this is an assignment, and what you need to do to submit this assignment is to simply grab a screenshot from your home computer showing that you did have, or you do currently have, that installed. Same thing here, create a MindTap account, and you can get some information here where you can learn as to how you're going to create MindTap. You should have gotten a MindTapped uh, account number from the bookstore, and that will allow you to actually register that account. But the other thing that's nice about MindTap, even if you're not ready yet to buy your license, you can certainly go in and create a 14-day free trial account. And so you can use that for 2 weeks. And at some time in those 2 weeks, you can get your registration key and update that. Also, that MindTap includes, as we've talked in the past, an online textbook. But if you prefer to have something that's printed, you can either purchase a textbook from the bookstore or online, or you may also go to Cengage and there is a rental option. So they'll actually rent you a textbook for a semester. All right. Now, in terms of your learning, the resources that you provide, it says up here that we recognize that not everybody kind of learns the same way. Some people, I'm one of those people, prefers to learn with a video. I'm very visually oriented and things tend to stick with me a little better. For other people, textbooks and printed tutorials seem to work better. So what we've done is collected a number of resources for you to use. You'll see that they are identified as to their source. So these are 4 Cengage videos that are relatively short, very granular in nature. There are a couple videos that I've created for you, and you'll have those throughout the course. This one is creating your first C# application, and this one is downloading a zip solution from Moodle or from GitHub. So this will talk about how you can kind of download sample code and starter code. This Developer University is, these videos are produced by a gentleman named Bob Tabor, and a number of our students really enjoy his videos. He has his own sense of humor and delivery, and so please take time to check those out to see if by chance Bob Tabor is your cup of tea. And if he is, please feel free to use those. The important thing to note here, though, is that you do not need to watch all of these videos. And in fact, what will happen is I suspect you will find that you either, if you're interested in videos, you'll either find that you kind of like the Cengage videos. They basically make sense to you how they flow, or you'll like perhaps Bob Tabor, and there will be Cengage videos and Bob Tabor throughout the course. This is also another MindTap uh, application video, kind of walk you through that. Now, along with that, I have referenced basically the chapter in this case and the subheadings that are relevant to what we're doing this week. Now, for those of you who happen to like PowerPoint presentations, and I think that the PowerPoint presentations do present information in a concise fashion, feel free to click on that and you can kind of step through that PowerPoint presentation, and it will highlight the same elements here. This is basically the Chapter 1 PowerPoint. Now, in terms of practice, what we have is MindTap, and MindTap is an online, the term that we use in computer programming is a sandbox. It's an area in which that you can go online and you can kind of play around with some code. And the term sandbox refers to the fact that it's a safe environment both for you and the online website. And so throughout the semester, you're going to see that we have programming exercises. Some of them are just kind of for practice. Some of them are, and you can see that by not graded, some of them are graded. and some of them are extra credit. And so I'll come back to that in just a second, I think. Next along the week is a review, and this is a bank of questions for this week. You can take this review as many times as you want, and it will you'll get 10 questions, and it will accept the top score from those. And so that's just a good practice. And that review is actually it's a Moodle quiz, is actually a practice or review for this week's quiz down here. So these questions are taken directly from this bank of questions. This quiz down here, you only get one attempt at it, but you have as much time as you want to take that quiz. Okay. And then we will have coding activities, and this week we have a coding activity. This week's coding activity is called the conversation. And if we take a look very quickly, if you click on the instructions, you'll see that we have some very detailed instructions as far as what's required of you to complete that application. We talk about what you need to do to submit the application. I'll show you there's actually a video on how to do that. And then if you scroll down here, you'll see the rubrics as to how we will be assessing that application. And I think that at least initially, you'll find that in terms of this area down here, you're going to be getting all of those points for the first part for these first two, and then this one I will evaluate based on obviously quality, creativity, and effort. I think that one of the key things though is to go to this last page, and this last page is the checklist, and the checklist is just as it states. It's a checklist, and you should make sure that when you complete your application prior to submitting it, obviously that it works, but also that you are meeting the features and specifications that we require in the checklist. Okay. Now also, there is a starter solution that you can download. And to download that solution, if you click on it, you'll see that you get a zip file, and there's a video that talks about how you can actually download that file, extract it, and open it up. And I also have some sample code for you, so if you want to see some of the things that I did with regard to this assignment, you can do that. The sample code actually lives on a website called GitHub. We'll to learn more about that over the semester. But you'll find that once you get comfortable navigating around your solution in Visual Studio, you'll see that that folder and directory structure is duplicated up here. And you'll see here's our coding activity, the conversation. And if you click on that, you'll see there's the program.cs file that you'll be developing. And if you click on that, you'll be able to see my code as an example code. You're more than welcome to kind of take that code, and at this point you can kind of copy and paste and modify it and use it to help you develop yours. As I said, there's a couple tutorials right here. Here's a tutorial for creating your first C# video, I'm sorry, your first C# solution. Okay, it's a video. So it's a relatively long video because it walks you through all of the processes I was talking about. And then also there is a shorter video that specifically is once you have your solution completed, how you are going to submit that solution to Moodle. Okay, so let me show you really quick. I want to come back here. I want to go back up to the Mind tab because this is going to be new to you. So let's go ahead and click on this first Mind tab that is not graded, and just so you can kind of see what it looks like. So if I click on Mind tab, you're going to see it's going to spin up. There'll be a quick flash of kind of the dashboard, and then it's going to jump right into this exercise. And if you click on this box down here, it says this button, Start Assignment. If I click on that, what it's going to do is it's going to spin up the sandbox that we were talking about. And you'll see that the sandbox actually has three areas. There's an area here where it has kind of instructions walking you through, And you'll see that as you move through the semester, you'll see some others here where it'll actually be doing some testing of your application for you. And so the instructions are that you are supposed to make an H right here. This is your coding area, and this is the console. This is where the output is. So this is your coding, and this is your output. And so just for fun, if I want to go in here, I can do right line, and we'll just say, hello, CIT 110. And so once we have that coded up, we can go ahead and run that, and we'll see that the displays what we were supposed to display. So I will leave that to you to kind of go in and continue to play with. So that's this week's overview. And as always, I'll continue to remind you, please feel free to contact me via email anytime that you want if you have any questions or you require any kind of clarification. Have a good day.